Radio, voice of the voiceless.
National issues that concern Nigeria and also that of Ogun State can be heard on the Periscope. The Periscope on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio with the host Fisayomi Ajibola every weekdays, Mondays to Fridays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. You won't want to miss it.
The 31st day in the month of July 2023. Of course, it is the last day in the month of July 2023. Welcome to Periscope on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. And of course, we want to say thank you, because it's always a pleasure that you follow all our social media platform, and of course, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and of course, activating your alarm to get more updates on our videos on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. So welcome to Periscope this morning, the last edition for the month of July and the first edition for the week, this beautiful week. I'm sure you had a restful weekend. My name is Modupe Akinyosoye, and on Periscope this morning we'll be discussing and holistically looking into different some selected headlines and stories in our dailies this morning. We'll be giving you stories, insights to that, and of course, I have a guest in the studio, a friend of the house, that will be giving us a different submission and opinion on the different headlines or stories, so to say, update that we have in our dailies this morning. All right, of course, at the emergence of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have been faced with different actions and inactions and different policies being made, and of course different arrest, suspension, and all of that have been made so far, especially that of the petrol subsidy removal, which of course all Nigerians are awaiting steps to be taken to cushion the effect of that, and of which some of the governors of the 36 states have been so far, giving out and dishing out palliatives to cushion the effects in their various states. We could recall that of Kwara State, that of Imo State, and of course Ogun State, the gateway state right here. All right, I have with me in the studio, I have Fisayomi Ajibola. He's a seasoned journalist, public affairs analyst, and of course a media practitioner. I will be doing this together with me in the studio. Good morning, Fisayomi.
Pleasant morning.
I hope you had a restful weekend.
A very splendid one, wonderful one.
All right, good to hear that. Let's start with, of course, the one that everyone is interested to talk about. Everyone is interested to talk about, talking about the subsidy removal and all of that. And of course, towards the delay, should we say delay of the President Tinubu rolling out palliatives or how to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, the NLC decided to, go on strike, of which even the resident doctors as well still had gone back to their strike, so to say, to their warning strike. And of course, the NLC, with an update we are getting from our dailies this morning, the Nigerian Labour Congress has commenced mass mobilization ahead of its planned nationwide strike scheduled to begin on Wednesday, that's the 2nd of August 2023, to protest the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal. And in a schedule obtained by a correspondent of The Punch in Abuja on Sunday, the NLC urged Nigerians to join at the Unity Fountain, Abuja, on Wednesday, August 2, 2023, at 7 a.m. And even despite the negotiations that have been going on between federal government and the labor union, NLC is still insisting that the Wednesday protests would commence. What's your take? What do you see NLC towing the right path on reacting to maybe the so-called delay of how President Muhammadu Buhari is handling cushioning the effect of petrol subsidy removal?
Okay, I think the NLC is not doing anything bad, because the NLC has come out to tell us that the policy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is anti-poor policies. These policies have pushed the poor to the extreme, and it makes cost of living is now killing the living, which is a big issue. And the only way that we can have a voice is via the union, the labor union, from the NLC to the TUC and co. If the NLC is able to rally round and cajole all other labor unions to support this move, I think it will be a big one.
Okay.
If they try to do it in isolation, I don't see it flying. Yes, there is negotiation ongoing. As we speak, a meeting is being held, and I think that is going to also form part of the broadcast that the president is going to do later this evening.
Okay.
Because, there is no approved minister for that ministry yet.
Ministry.
But some people, the federal government have assigned some people to take up the responsibility, yes, the responsibility of seeing to that the warning strike that the NSA has called for. But don't forget also that some weeks back, when the NLC came up to tell us that that they can go on strike, well, that was the first time that the pump price of petrol was increased. The federal government quickly went to the court to secure a court injunction prohibiting the NLC from going on any strike. Now, that injunction stands. Now, I don't know how the NLC is going to go about it. Would they go against a court injunction that is already prohibiting them from going on a strike?
This morning, NLC is saying that no court order stopping them from peaceful protests.
Yes. If it's peaceful protest, no.
But for the strike. Don't you see federal government preempting the situation, going to court even before the start of negotiation at all?
And that's why I said that is the problem we have in our country. The NLC or any labor union is always at the detriment of the government. The government will always put them at the point that they will be at their mercy. So the government has positioned them that if you like, strike. But before you're back on that strike, who owns the courts? Who owns the judiciary? Federal government. The government has gone beyond them. And that is why I think we should have people who usually sit down and brainstorm on moves before going ahead. I expected NLC, before coming to tell us that they will go on strike, to go and take a court injunction that would have mandated or would have allowed them. As a Nigerian, I can make a protest. I can do protest. I can get on that road, mobilize people and walk. I have not caused any issue. Since in as much as I have not caused to become a public nuisance, which I will be going against our constitution, I have the right for a peaceful protest. But now that can a peaceful protest alone make the federal government to look at your side? No. Now you said you want to boycott duties. How do you go about it? Now that the government has secured an injunction against you.
But because definitely the special advisor, communication and strategy, has been coming out to dishing out information and all of that. Do you see, and of course the federal government will be saying that NLC should be patient and continue with the negotiations they have and all of that, and even with the resident doctors that they should be patient. So do you see, don't you think that NLC should agree with the federal government on being patient, or do you see it as it is until you see that we are serious about this and we put, or so to say, not of course not literally put gun on your head, that's when you take us serious? Don't you see NLC understanding the government, even coming out to say, okay, don't worry, we'll do something, but we just want you to be patient with us?
The patience is, there is nothing wrong in you demanding something from me, and I said, okay, you know what, be patient, I will give it to you. But when your demand is not being given a time frame of execution, you will naturally be worried. If you are asking the NLC to be patient, have you signed any MOU to tell them that XYZ date, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that? No. Even in proxy, you approve a 25,000 hazard allowance for the resident doctors. Now they have called that, sign it, document it, let's see, so that we can hold you by the jugular if you go against it. But as federal government responded,
making a commitment.
no, there's no MOU to that effect. But the federal government can quickly sign a 70 billion naira for the National Assembly. And the labor is being left in the cold. So if the labor is saying, no, we cannot continue to tolerate this, it is called for. It is called for. But my fear with government is this. The government is always as smart as possible. See the issue of ASU. When ASU was in the midst of that crisis, I can remember that over time I spoke with Professor Shodeke, who is the ASU chairman. And at the point, when the breakout union came out from there, I told him that is the mole I'm telling you about.
Konwa and NAMDA.
The government knows how to break it, and I know that is going on now. The government will be negotiating with some people. Everybody has a price. The government will be negotiating with some people in that union to say, go and flow. By the time that union will come out to surface, you will see that it has been registered 20 years ago. They will know how to update the registration, that it will not look as if it's new. So the government will now ask that one. That one will now start negotiating with some other stakeholders to say, we are not part of NSC, we are not part of this. And those ones will now tell you that we are with the federal government.
So where do you think the point where we can have the point of agreement, point of consensus?
I think I still say it. Our constitution and the way we execute the constitution is a big issue. There is always a loophole in every of our constitution. There is always somewhere to hide in every of our laws, rules and regulations, our constitutions, the laws of the land. The laws of the land will tell you, I want to go out of this building, this room, I want to go out. The law will allow you to go out. Sorry. But the law does not in any way state that it's either you go through the door, go through the ceiling, or go through the wall. So eventually if I go through the wall, I can say, why?
And issues arise.
Because we know that moral said you should pass through the door. But there is no way in the law that said I cannot pass it. But the law said I can go out of the building. So that is our problem. I think we need to firm our constitution. We need to be definite with our constitution. And we need to let others, whoever it is that is trampling on the law, to understand that there is a consequence. Somebody should serve as example. If those things, those vacuum, those loopholes are still there, people will always get away with it. There is a limit to what NLC can hold the government for. This government have once protested, took over the streets of Lagos and every part of Nigeria. we love propaganda. We go to the media to the government of APC understands media very well. They know how to fill your pulse. They know what to dish out. When they want to get your reaction, they will quickly go to the media to circulate something. If you react negatively, they will come back and write you and tell you that it's a rumor, that it's not from the government. The government understands this very well, and they are using it against the masses. And if we continue to allow the present dispensation to use the media against us, it's going to be business as usual for them. We will only sit at the comfort of our house and grumble, and we will not
Be able to do anything.
make it change.
But it's democracy.
Yes,
we have the,
our version
the
of
people.
democracy is different. Democracy, government of the people, for the people. Accepted democracy. But we have our version. Democracy, government of the selected to the selected.
I even saw a submission. I can't remember who specifically now, talking about that in no time our democracy will go into extinction.
Our democracy
Yes.
in Nigeria, no. I doubt it. I don't even agree.
Okay.
Our version of democracy is becoming popular. Don't forget that many African countries look up to us. The detriment of it is that if we continue with this, our own version of democracy, some neighboring African countries will continue to accept it to the detriment of electorate and citizens of that country. Our democracy will not go into extinction, except we put a bar over it to say no, it's not going to continue. But if not, it will turn to a kind of, the ripple effect is that it will get to other African countries who will now start practicing their own kind of democracy. And if our population, that kind of democracy can be allowed, is it in Togo, is it in Ghana, or Cameroon, that they will not get away with it? Countries where their leaders sit for 30 years and more, and nobody is saying anything. So, our democracy cannot go into
And
extinction.
don't you think that can even lead to what just happened in Niger Republic if this kind of democracy continues?
Such can never happen in Nigeria. It cannot. We have so many things dividing us. Is it language? Is it religion?
Culture.
Or culture? And especially the what they call federal character. We give prominence to some set of people, while some set of people are perpetually to be behind in the road, to be behind bars.
We've not seen
in
ourselves
the
as
corridor of
equal.
power. No, we are never. We are never in Nigeria. So, if you want to say, okay, if I get up now and say, follow me, we want to do against the government, and somebody who is from his tribe, that is the president, he's from his tribe, that is the chief of staff, and some other top security chiefs, will that person follow you? No. See what is happening to indigenous people of Biafra. Nnamdi Kanu, if you look at the history of that sect, it started from Maso. Before Maso, from what's this, their leader, Chukwuemeka, who started Biafra? Ojukwu.
Okay.
Now, before them, Maso. Now, if you look after Maso, Hypo. After Hypo, now, there is a breakaway led by Simon Ekpa. There is always a breakaway. If you think this is your own agenda, your blood will be brought over by some set of people and say, yeah.
To go against it.
So that cannot happen in Nigeria. We cannot have a unifying voice, no matter how small it is. We cannot. If people in Ogun State agreed to have that force, before they walk from here to the township, you see some people among them who say, I don't want to follow you again. Why are we complaining?
Isn't that it should be the beauty of democracy or diversity in humanity, so to say, natural?
No. See, in countries where people protest to government and government listen to them, government is always responsible for so many things. Government give them light, good road, give them power, give them
Water.
health, give them water, give them security. So when these people, when government is not living up to those things, they are bound to protest, to say, why are we not getting it? And government depends solely on what they get from them. So in that instance, the moment they protest, that there is a protest, government will call them for negotiation to say, sorry, you are our customer, we get money from you, we will treat you. Now, come to Nigeria. You get the guard yourself. Sometimes you call all landlords to come out and do
Contribute.
security. Do security, no, not contribute.
Oh, okay.
Landlords will be the one that will be awake and comb the streets overnight.
Oh, wow.
You do your ball in your house. You don't wait for government. I doubt if there is any house in this country that does not have alternative power supply. You want to talk about solar or generator?
Generator.
So what is it that government is doing for us that I want to protect? Government, why are you not doing this for us?
And that will be
So we do
effective.
not have. So there is no way we can call ourselves, let's protest. That government is not doing it. Doing what? What? Most of us, as we grew up knowing that we do all these things for ourselves. I was telling a lady sent me an IV that she's getting married, and I said, oh, very good with that. We will have where you are going to. There is public water. I'm going to be the one that will fetch the water to pour in your leg. He said, what do I mean by public water? I said, taps running in people's houses, created by government. He said, well, when is the hospital? She has never seen it, and she's getting married. So the part she lived, that she has lived all her life, she has never experienced public water supply in this Nigeria. How do you want to tell that person that government is responsible for anything?
All right, quickly before we go on a break, also part of the things that people have been reacting to and all of that, we got also a report this morning from a panel member that Tinubu committee is slow and real palliative may be delayed, and why some are of the opinion that Rome was not built in a day, that to get an effective change cannot happen overnight. So which would you, what's your take on that, when some believe that the actions, or so to say, the way the government is going about reacting to cushioning the effect or whatever it is that they want to do is dragging, and while some would say it's not, that it can't happen overnight, it will take time. What's your take?
Truly, it's not, it can't happen overnight, truly. But there's something that can happen overnight, and that is policies. You will be seeing policies that that this is tilted towards development. Policies that will show that we are on the right path. Policies that will show that, okay, our financial stability, we are gaining it. Policies that will see that we can generate income. Policies that will make us to understand that in XYZ amount of years, we should be smiling. Where are those policies? So if people are saying, oh, it's slow, well, I think we should not expect miracle from this man. And the problem is most Nigerians, the expectation from Tinubu, the Nigerians' expectation is too high. It's just too high. And this man is not a magician. The rot in this country, it's been there for years, over 20 years. Over 20 years. That rot that people assume, or that he also claimed to come and put an end to, cannot be done away with. This man is less than 3 months in government. Cannot be done away with within that just short period of time. However, 2 months, we should be seeing policies, moves of policies that will change the narrative. But if we don't get to see it, if by the end of 6 months, we do not have definite policies that we know is tilted towards the renewed hope, the change, if we do not have it, by then, we should know that it is business as usual.
So far, with some of the policies that Tinubu has rolled out, you don't see any of them giving a sign or signal of change or renewed hope?
I don't. I have not seen any. Mention anyone and let me pocket it, or let me
from the business angle for
even
exchange rate.
the appointment of the service chiefs. We were blaming some people that there was a time that Nigerians said all the service chiefs were from their Fulanis.
Oh, okay.
When they get to meeting, that what they speak is their language. There was a time that it was everywhere. Now let's come to our own this present dispensation. The service chiefs. How many of them is from Southwest? So we should not be saying, this person has done it wrong because we are not benefiting. Now that we are benefiting, are we complaining? If you look at the ministerial list, I think it's one fair one.
Okay.
Fair one. The southeastern part of Nigerians, they are being represented well in the list.
We'll come back to the list, ministerial list, after this short break. Of course, still Periscope on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio, and we are looking through some of the stories we have in our dailies this morning, just giving holistic look at them. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us.
Láfẹ́ tún gbayì tó fẹ́ wọṣọ yìí ṣoge lọ sí House of Zion. House of Zion, the name I know when we talk of top-notch fashion, class and class. House of Zion. Lẹ́tí máa rójúlówó Turkey wears, Egypt and Malaysia clothing lóríṣiríṣi. Àwọn tẹ̀lé bàtà tó jiná tí wọ́n fa wọ̀ original ṣe. Àwọn aago kájọ́ tó ń ka wákàtí ọjọ́. Perfumes pẹ̀lú àwọn gbogbo. Mo débẹ̀ ojú mi ń ṣe kámi èmi ni orú ẹ̀yin mùsùlùmí ẹlẹ́sìn tẹ́ gbòógì gbọ́n pa fashion tẹ́ wá nílò jàlábí àti àbáyà lóríṣiríṣi. House of Zion lẹ́ò ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀ rà. House of St. Redeemed Church Agape Parish Ọlọ́runṣògo Abẹ́òkúta lórí Instagram House of Zion 081 65618. House of Zion ìbáṣọ àti nǹkan aṣaralóge tí ń gbéni níyì gbogbo aṣọ yìí ṣoge tó pa.
Thousands have been disappointed severally in the bid to seek greener pasture abroad. To those who are not our case, our Tausaf Travels and Tour. We have in-depth details on how to successfully, without stress, help you process and secure your visa to anywhere in the world. Do you want permanent residential visa, visiting and tourism visa, student visa to places like Europe, America? It's no big deal to us at Tausaf Travel. Our years of experience and expertise speaks volume for us. Let's process and secure visa for you to UK, USA, and a twinkle of an eye. We offer Hajj and Umrah services. What are you waiting for? Consult us at number 9 Tausaf Central Mall, Sholanke Street, behind Laroy Hotel, Abiola Way, Abeokuta. 0802 70 0900 0806 578 406. Waste money, pay for peace of mind.
You're still on to Periscope on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. The last day in the month of July 2023, July 31. And of course, definitely right here. You can always drop your comments, always drop your submission, opinion under the video at the comment section. Any of your submission, definitely the conversation doesn't stop here. It continues every time you just find it convenient to make known your submission and opinion, and the conversation continue from there. And of course, we're still going through some of the stories we have in our dailies this morning, and I still have with me in the studio Oluwafisayomi Ajibola, a seasoned journalist, a media practitioner, and of course a political social media analyst. All right, back to talking about some of the actions being taken by the present administration, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You mentioned the ministerial list, and of which last week, different analyses have been going on the selection nominees of ministerial on the ministerial list, and some have the opinion that okay, fair enough. Some have the opinion that this and that. People are just been bringing out different, analyses on that. I would want you to continue your submission on the ministerial list. What's your view?
Ministerial list. The way and manner it was submitted by the Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, shows that it was an Herculean task for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There was even a report that he went into seclusion before he could make that list and submitted the things. There was so much under pressure. And it is natural. Why I would say it is natural is if you look at the numbers of people who have supported the agenda, the Tinubu agenda, you will know that it is a time for payback. And the payback is about getting appointments. About 28 names were submitted. Some states were missing.
Yeah.
And we were told also that there is going to be added ministries. Now, among the states that were missing, we have Lagos. This is where our president is from. Which ordinarily, we were thinking that he's going to have picked somebody. For him not to have come out with a name from Lagos State shows that there is a big problem from that end. So, that list, if you look at that list, some are politicians, some are technocrats. That list is not all politicians. They are not, most of them are not, they are freshers. Most of them are freshers. I won't call persons like Jason Wike a fresher. He's been in government.
Yes.
Nor will I go call
four former governors.
Yes. I won't call those ones freshers. But if you remember, there was a leaked list. And some names in the leaked list are missing now. Though some made it to the real list. What that tells you is that that so-called leaked list was authentic at the point. It was when it was found out that it's been leaked, probably they found out where it leaked from, was why that correction had been made. However, we have not seen any or experienced any in this country where a list was submitted, ministerial nominees was submitted to the House, to the National Assembly, and we found that there happened to be a case of somebody being rejected. So what we are just going to be waiting for is ascend them portfolio. The screening is going to be business as usual. Nobody will be screened out. Everybody will make it. Except if that is going to change for the first time here. And if it does, well, that means our democracy is taking shape. But let's look at it. Let them assign them portfolios. Let's see who has who gets what. So that we can know if the person is getting it out of competence or nepotism. So to the list, I don't see anybody in that list that want to say, no, it's not worth it. No, they are. But where we might have issues is the portfolios that they will be assigned to. Let's assume now that Wale Edun in the list will now become Minister of Health. We'll now ask ourselves, financial experts becoming the Minister of Health, how will he deliver it? So let's wait and see.
Okay, some also have commended the list, talking about the inclusion of women as promised by the administration, because we have 7 women, we have the nominees comprising 4 former governors, 7 women, 7 and former lawmakers and technocrats were also picked from the 25 out of the Nigeria's 36 states. So would you say, I'm talking about the women's inclusion, that to an extent Tinubu fulfilled his promise on women's inclusive
Yes,
inclusion.
the women did a whole lot of wonders for him to become the president. The women were mobilized rightly. So you won't want to disappoint them by not appointing them as ministers. And you don't be surprised in the new ministries that will be created, you will still see more of them making the list of the ministers.
All right. Part of the stories that were published in our dailies this morning, I saw a story: military destroys another illegal refinery in Delta State. Troops of the Nigerian Army, personnel from the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps and Tantita Security have uncovered an illegal oil refining site in Ugeli South in Delta State. The director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyeama, in a statement on Sunday said the security operatives carried out a sting operation on the site after an intelligence report, and he added that the vigilant troops on storming the illegal refining site discovered 35 modular ovens used for illegal refining of crude oil, 3 fabricated reservoirs, 30 dugout reservoirs, and 75 galvanized pipes. Now, when I saw the news, I tried to plug in different stories and different findings so far, and I asked the first question: when we are discovering Eden refinery or refinery, so to say, and Nigeria as a country or nation cannot make functional one refinery, and then the question comes up: what exactly is happening in Nigeria? And then also seeing findings and reports by some politicians revealing that even the government is part, they are in the known of what is happening about oil theft, Eden refineries, smuggling, and all of that. What's your take on that, on those two things?
Well, refineries. At what point can we say a refinery is illegal? These refineries, if you want to have a refinery, I doubt if I can set up a refinery on 1 acre land. To set up a refinery, pipes, oil flare, gas flaring, and coal, as in constructions that it will entail, cannot be done in the dark.
It's like pregnancy. You can't be hidden.
I like that. Pregnancy. Does it make any sense for me to refer to any pregnancy as illegal pregnancy? How can a pregnancy be illegal? Maybe I have not slept with a man.
Maybe that's in the Christian way. Maybe that's of Mary.
It's not. You can hold it on one day, but it cannot be illegal because processes. You saw it. You cannot tell me that you did not. It's not like schools that is illegal schools that are not registered, that somebody will just start uncompleted building, bring children together. Refinery, they have to drill, run pipes, do everything.
If so many people will be involved, specialists,
who is supplying them the crude?
Contractors.
Can they buy crude? Is crude like bread that I will go to the market and buy and keep in my pocket? Who is supplying them the crude? So before you call it illegal, we love giving names to things in Nigeria unnecessarily. Somebody came out some months ago, weeks ago, that there is no refinery in Nigeria, the so-called illegal refinery, that the military or the navy do not know anything about. Though they all came out to challenge the person's comments, to say the comment is indicting. Can a community who is the host to a refinery not know that a refinery is in the community? Are you telling me that everybody in that community, from their lineage beginning to the end, they do not have anybody in government as low as chairman of a local government who can report the setup of a refinery? That refinery becomes illegal. It becomes illegal when it is not reporting anymore to the government. It's just like when UK came to say he's destroying refineries. I have it in good record of the refineries he destroyed that he called illegal, and there are so many refineries who are still operating. But because the people do not belong to their group, the untouchables, or they are not remitting as they should remit, they become illegal. So, instead of us destroying the so-called illegal refinery, why don't you call them? Document it. Document it. This refinery you are making, this oil you are refining here, I know most of them sell it outside the country. It runs on hectares of land on the sea to another country. They use vessels, big vessels, bigger than the community sometimes, to transport it to who is buying. And they are calling it illegal. That vessel can fly. Nobody will see it when it's swimming on water to their location. So we cannot call it illegal. Instead, call them. Talk to them. It's your business. Let's empower you. Let's tax you. Pay this XYZ tax. Make policies that will make them to be functioning. So that by the time we have refineries, more than 50 refineries in Nigeria, won't we be able to buy a liter of petrol for 10 naira? Or something lesser, ridiculously lesser. But you are going about destroying refineries that should be, that is not even enough to satisfy the populations of Nigeria. And you are saying it's illegal. That is why they are doing the business, not in the right way. But instead of you destroying it, why don't you call them? Tell them the government wants to support you. Do the regularization of the business. Pay XYZ to the government. They are not stealing. The crude is not coming from heaven. It's coming from somewhere before they refine it. Who sold the crude to them? So before we call it illegal, see, so there are some things that whenever they come out, I ask myself, that is government not taking us for granted? The government can just come and tell us different things because they know that the highest we will do is just rant in the comfort of our home, because we will not do anything. They said, oh, 8,000 naira. They came to sample our opinion. They saw that it was greeted with a negative reaction. They withdrew it. Is anything being said about it again? No. They went to the state. Most state governors are not saying, I'm giving them. Why didn't those states, why didn't they come out before government to say, I want to increase it? So they know how to put these things in sequence and tackle us. And we have no option.
Talking about putting things in sequence and tackle, let's round up with this story, because you mentioned talking about APC knowing how to use media as a tool. The president later today will be addressing Nigerians at 7 p.m. And of course, the president's special advisor on strategy, communication, and special duties, Dele Alaki, announced this in a statement released on Monday morning, that this morning, that President Bola Tinubu will make a broadcast to the nation on Monday, today, the July 31, 2023 at 7 p.m. And so all television, radio stations, and other electronic media outlets are enjoined to hook up. Do you see this as one of their ways to use media as tools, or you see this as appropriate, being responsive to people's pulse?
Okay, the issue here is of utmost concern that Nigerians will be waiting for by 7 p.m. to be addressed or attended to by the president. That's the issue of the petrol. Also, other things that the NLC called anti-poor policies. I want the presidency to be sensitive and be careful with his statement tonight. This broadcast tonight can either divide us more or unite us. Nigeria is at a very critical point that every statement, every I that you're going to dot and every T you're going to cross, you have to be very careful of it because Nigerians are angry already. If it is not something to plead, assure them that it is not going to be business as usual. That all the policy you are saying is for a reason. If it's not something like that, Nigerians will not accept it. Nigerians, we don't know what will be out of it.
All right, definitely Nigerians are anticipating and are looking forward to the broadcast by the president at 7 p.m. today. Let's see. Hopefully, definitely will be statements that broadcast that will definitely enhance the unity of Nigeria. Thank you so much, Oluwafisayo Mejibola, for coming around this morning.
Thank you too.
All right, thank you. The conversation continue just write your comments and submission under the comment section and follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. I remain Modupe, Akinyosoye. Do have a beautiful day.